Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Over here, I post anonymous stories online. So if you like listening to anonymous stories, what are you waiting for? Hit on the subscribe button. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Well, since it's a Saturday, a quick story time about why I don't have female friends anymore. So about 5 to 6 years ago, I was best buds with this girl I went to high school with. We were close in school, but we got even more closer after school because the distance between my uni and where she lived wasn't too far. She came visiting one weekend as usual. We cooked, ate, went to the beach to relax for a while, and you know how time goes by quickly when you are at the beach. So before I realized it was almost 11 p.m. and trying to get a car going in the direction of a place seemed hopeless because of the time. Me being a good friend, I asked her to stay over and leave the next morning. Because I wasn't going to be comfortable leaving her all by herself. We got back to my place. We each took a shower, but something felt off about how she stared at me when I came out of the bathroom. But I simply shrugged it off and blamed it on my mind playing tricks on me. She knows I sleep with my lights on, so I was confused when she asked me to turn them off. I didn't worry about it and just turned it off and headed off to bed. I am a light sleeper, so when I felt something brush over my legs, my heart sank and I knew something was wrong. I waited a few minutes to see if it would stop, but it didn't. This girl thought I was fast asleep, so she proceeded to fondle with my breast. I jerked up, turned on the lights, and boy was I livid. I was so damn mad you could see smoke coming out of my ears, cartoon style. I asked her why she was doing that, and her excuse was I couldn't help myself, and that she had always felt the attraction but suppressed it because I didn't seem interested. But when I got worried about her safety, she thought I liked her. Of course, I liked her. She was my best friend, so I am supposed to not worry about her safety since she was coming to my place. We argued for about 30 minutes and I decided to go and sit outside till dawn because it was almost 3 a.m. Around 4:30 a.m. I went back to my room because taxis had started working that dawn. I saw her off to my main gate and I just left her there. How she got home, I don't know, and I didn't really care. She tried contacting me for a few weeks, then later stopped when she realized I wasn't going to listen to any kind of explanation. 6 months after the incident, a friend called to ask why I stopped speaking to my bestie when I was the one who wronged her. I was confused and I inquired about what he was talking about. And ladies and gentlemen, this girl had gone around telling people that I kicked her out of my place when she rejected my advances. Bitch turned the whole thing on me. Told anybody who would hear her that I was a lesbian. I was the one who kept her secret when people asked why we weren't hanging out, and she had the mind to spread false news because she thought that I would beat her to it. That morning, I chose to miss lectures and go over to her place because I wasn't understanding. That's where this part of the story ended. But girl, I hope you confronted her. And if people are there, I'm sure she will tell you that you are putting the whole thing on her. And when people are not there, I'm sure she will say she was just scared you go and spread those tell people about it, so that's why she said that about you. But that's no excuse. I mean, she tried to, what was she going to explain when she was calling? What was she going to say? Probably sorry and it won't happen again. And I'm sure maybe you just didn't want to be in communication with her again because of that. That's your choice, fair enough, because she didn't think about the repercussions of what will happen before she proceeded to do whatever she wanted to do, so she should be able to live with it. But I hope that you come to an amicable agreement and then she stops spreading stuff about you. No one likes that. Guys, please, I want to share my story and I also want advice. So I met a lady on here through hookup. After our first meeting, she was feeling reluctant to leave my place, which I didn't force her out. We met again and again for like 3 times and we have been vibing aside us meeting up. Sometimes she would want to come over even though I haven't booked for her. I do agree, but only when I am free. She comes around, we hang out, watch movies, and then she goes back to her place. She's always checking up on me, telling me her day-to-day activities. We've become friends, and I haven't had anything to do with her since the third meeting. Whenever she comes around, she would cook and clean up my place before she leaves. Just yesterday, on her way to my place, she bought groceries and other stuffs. She did her usual routine, cooked and cleaned up my place. This time around, we had sex. And when she was leaving, I asked her how much the groceries was and she mentioned the amount, and I gave her the amount including what I usually pay her if I booked her, but she refused the money and left. But she did something that got me thinking. She took one of my keys. I am really confused. What should I do? It's high time I take myself off hookup. Wish I had resources. Imagine one man took me for a night and bought me kiss drink to drink. We proceeded to his house. On getting there, he started touching my B and kissing me. I told him I can permit touching my B, but not kissing. The funny thing is, the man pushed me out of his house and demanded I pay him for the kiss I drank, which I told him I had no money on me. Do you know the food the man bought for me that I took to his place? He seized it and pushed me out of his house in the middle of the night. I'm not sad he kicked me out, but because of one kiss, you took my plate of food. Why seriously do some people not really care how they treat other human beings? And because he bought you a drink and because what you are a hookup, he feels he can treat you as he pleases. You should be glad you left there, even if the circumstances were no good. He doesn't seem like a nice person. That's no way to treat another person regardless of the fact. Guys are wicked though. I went out yesterday and met this guy. We became friends, so when I was leaving, he insisted to drop me off. I couldn't find my house key. I told him to break the door, but he said people were sleeping. It might disturb them, so he will let me sleep in his house so that tomorrow a carpenter will do that for me. I agreed. We got there. I refused to shower because I didn't want to undress, so I slept like that. Around 2 a.m., this guy started touching me. I told him I can't do this, so he should stop. This guy asked me to get out of his house at that time. He threw me out. You suggest somebody should come to your house and then sleep, and then they are thinking, oh, what a kind gentleman. And then they get to your house and around 2 a.m. you want to, what was the mindset? What were you thinking? That you, because was she homeless? Even if she was homeless, does that give you the right, because of a night, a place to sleep for a night, you think that the payment for that, something they didn't ask you for, the payment is sex? I met this lady here on a Saturday evening. We vibed a little and exchanged pictures. We both liked our physical appearance, and so we agreed to meet. That same evening, I drove all the way to Damfa to pick up this girl. First, she even told me it was Ayimensa she stays, but I followed the Google Maps. It was Damfa inside. I got to the location and then she said she's seen me, so she's coming. I was inside the car waiting. And then some children came out of a house I am facing to come and spy on my car and went in. I used I-10 grand. As a young corporate guy, I am trying to manage my expenses. For about 10 minutes, this lady wasn't coming out, only to receive a text message from her that she's sorry but she can't make it. I was like, it's over an hour drive, so I asked her to come out and at least tell me why. She said she had an emergency. She came out only to tell me she had an emergency and that she had to go somewhere with some people who are coming to pick her up, and that she had the information late, so she is sorry. But I knew she was telling lies. She was expecting me to pull up in a Benz, Range or some sporty Civic B. So as I pull up in I-10 Grande, she was disappointed. I just smiled and drove off as she watched me. I have been a hookup girl for like 4 years ago. Met a guy 5 months now, and things are really going on smooth. We met both families, and unfortunately for me, I just met two of his friends that were like regular clients of mine when I was into hookup. Definitely, they would tell him, I am so hurt and in so much regret. Now, how do I explain this to him? It's a big shame for me, and if my family find out, I will be doomed too. I lied about my past to him. This will really break him. Regardless, you have to tell him before the friends beat you to it, or they might have already done that already. So hurry up. Go tell him it's his choice to decide whether or not he will stay, but you can't hide that from him because he will even find out anyway. But I hope that he forgives you and then you guys can move on from that. But if he doesn't, just take that as a lesson and move on with your life. My boyfriend earns around 8.5k to 9k monthly, but only spends 700 to 800 cedis on me on a monthly basis, which does not do much because I don't earn much. It's 1,200 cedis that I earn. I have spoken to him about this, but he doesn't budge. He lives with his parents, so he doesn't pay rent. Neither does he own a vehicle that I would say he spends on petrol. He doesn't have much bills to pay. So I don't understand why spending on me is such an issue. Guys, do this, and when you end up with someone else, they will paint you as a bad person. Well, you feel it's not much, you are communicating, he's not listening. So what do you do now? Based on what you concluded with, it means you are most likely to find someone else to replace him, since guys do this and then they blame you when you find someone else. So if you can find someone else and he's not minding you, go right ahead, Abby, because we can't force you to stay. He himself cannot force you to stay. But if you earn 1.2k and he's adding you 800, doesn't it make it like 1,008? Okay, maybe still you cannot manage that, Abby. So you've communicated, he's not minding you. What will you do? Jerry, whatever you conclude, me, I support you. What can I say? He will have to take whatever you conclude with, because now you can't force him to give you money. He can also force you to stay. How I met my wife back in 2016. I was dating a girl in one of the offices in Ridge. My ex was beautiful, brilliant, and fair. So one day, I went to her office to pick her up after work because it was raining that day. When I got there, I had to wait outside because she was still in her office. She met me outside 5 minutes later. As we were about to leave, I saw this fine lady also coming out of my ex's office. She was holding an umbrella. So I asked my ex if I could give the lady a ride to the station, but my ex said no. Immediately, I was a bit surprised because I thought they were cool with each other. So I drove off and we were a bit stuck in traffic not far from her office. We saw her colleague passing with her umbrella and suffering. I asked my ex again and she got angry. That why am I so interested in someone I don't even know? She then said she's not cool with the lady because there are rumors that she slept with the director for the job. I immediately knew she was jealous of the lady, but I just said okay and dropped her home. About a week later, I was going to work to pick my ex up at the office and I met the lady again. On that day, my ex left her phone in the office when she was leaving, so the lady brought it to her in the car. Instead of my ex to say thank you, she took the phone with some weird attitude. The lady didn't say anything and left. I comforted my ex about her attitude and she started overreacting and acting as the victim. I don't like arguments, so I just said sorry and we left her office. About a month later, my buddy invited me to his sister's wedding. I dressed up nice and everything. I was supposed to go with my ex, but she's not interested. I got to the wedding and everything. I sat at the back and opposite my lane is this same lady at my ex's office. I approached her and apologized on my ex's behalf. She told me that she was a service personnel in another department, but they retained her after her service. That's why her colleagues thought she slept with the director. I didn't really believe her story. My friend later introduced her to me as his junior in SHS. He said she's brilliant, so everyone liked her. We exchanged contacts and I left. I texted her that same evening on WhatsApp. But she gave me blue ticks. I texted the next day and she replied that she doesn't want to lose her job because of me. She blocked me after that. I never saw her again after that. So we met at a supermarket a month later. I paid for everything she bought and offered to give her a ride. She refused, but I convinced her till she accepted. We had a very nice conversation in the car and I made her unblock me. I dropped her off and we started texting that evening. You could see from the conversation that she's really brilliant. I was impressed. That time too, I was having issues with my ex, but I didn't tell the lady. By the time I broke up with my ex, I didn't feel bad because my ex was cheating. I told the lady I liked her, but she said my ex is her colleague, so she doesn't want to do anything with me. I tried convincing her for months, but still. One day, I took her out on a date after begging for weeks. After the date, I dropped her off and kissed her. My friends advised me to use that method, otherwise she will never accept me. I thought she did push me away, but she didn't. We kissed and she was blushing. That night, I called and she didn't pick. I went to her place after work. She was acting shy. I knew that was my time to get her. I then suggested that since she's not okay with dating me, then let's be friends. She said I thought you liked me. I said yeah, but since you said you are not interested, let's forget about it. She lowered her head and said in a shy voice that I should give her some days to think about it. That day, I was so happy that I drank when I got home. 3 days later, she accepted my proposal. She's 5'4" and I am 6'4", so anytime we go out, she will complain that she looks like a kid with me, so she's not okay with it. I am 4 years older than her. We dated secretly for a year before my ex found out. That day, my girl ghosted me for a week. I had to go to my ex's house to warn her, but my woman was still not comfortable, so she quit her job. We searched for jobs till she finally got one. A year later, I proposed to her and we got married. It's been 7 years now and we are still together. Wow, such a beautiful story. We've come to the end of another exciting video. Thank you guys so very much for watching. If you have any comments under whichever story, just feel free to drop it down in the comment section. And also, please do not forget to subscribe. Thank you for subscribing and watching my videos, and see you in another video.